Chapter 1: The Physics of Empire, Capability, Complexity, and Collapse. Civilizations behave like machines. They rise, grow, strain, and eventually fail according to structural laws rather than ideals or intentions. Their trajectories may appear shaped by culture, leadership, or circumstance, but beneath these surface narratives lies a deeper pattern: the relationship between the capability of a population and the complexity of the system that population must sustain. When capability exceeds complexity, a civilization rises. When complexity overtakes capability, decline begins. Every empire starts the same way, with a small, unusually competent minority whose skill, discipline, and cohesion far exceed the societal average. These individuals, founders, engineers, generals, traders, administrators, possess the rare combination of intelligence, resilience, and strategic clarity required to build new systems from nothing. They are not representative of the civilization they eventually lead. They are statistical outliers, concentrated in an unusually small and unusually coordinated group. In this early phase, the machinery of civilization is simple. The administrative network is thin, the military command structure is direct, and the logistical apparatus is minimal. A handful of capable operators can maintain the entire system because it has not yet grown beyond their cognitive and organizational reach. Their competence saturates the environment around them. They make decisions quickly. They correct mistakes immediately. They learn faster than their rivals. They operate with unity of purpose that larger systems cannot replicate. This is the period historians later romanticize as the founding era, the age in which everything seems clear, decisive, and principled. But the truth is more mechanical. Early civilizations function well because capability density is extraordinarily high and system complexity is extraordinarily low. It is a structural advantage, not a moral one. Success, however, contains its own trap. As the empire expands, territorially, economically, administratively, its systems become more intricate. New provinces require governance. New trade networks require oversight. New laws require adjudication. Infrastructure demands maintenance. Armies require supply chains. Bureaucracies multiply in size and scope. The empire that was once a compact, tightly coordinated organism becomes a sprawling information processing engine. A system becomes complex when the number of interactions, dependencies, and information flows grows faster than the population's ability to perceive, process, and manage them. In practice, complexity increases when institutions multiply, decision-making chains lengthen, maintenance and oversight requirements intensify, and interdependencies tighten such that failure in one node cascades to others. Complexity is not simply many parts. It is many interlocking parts that must all be competently operated to prevent systemic failure. Complexity grows additively in visible structures and exponentially in invisible interactions. And it always grows faster than capability can regenerate. This expansion produces the first widening gap between the system's complexity and the population's ability to operate it. At first, the original high-capability elite can keep pace. They build new bureaucratic structures, train successors, codify processes, and establish institutions capable of scaling beyond their presence. But complexity grows exponentially, and capability does not. The empire becomes larger than the talent base that created it. Here lies the first fracture in every civilizational arc. As prosperity increases, birth rates among the highly capable decline. This is not a cultural choice, it is a predictable economic pattern. Across history, elites produce fewer children precisely when their civilization needs more of them. The administrative burden rises at the same time the supply of competent administrators shrinks. The complexity of the system rises at the same time the capability density falls. This demographic phenomenon, later explored in depth in Chapter 2, creates a subtle but irreversible mismatch. To fill the expanding administrative and technical demands, the empire gradually lowers its standards. Positions once held by exceptional individuals are now given to merely adequate ones. Adequate ones later replaced by inadequate ones. Training shortens. Requirements soften. Merit is diluted by necessity. complexity continues to rise regardless. Every new institution, law, infrastructure project, trade route, or provincial integration adds to the total cognitive burden of the system. The empire does not recognize the moment when capability quietly dips below complexity. No civilization ever has. Momentum hides the decay. Institutions continue functioning, but more slowly and less reliably. Decisions become harder. Errors become more common. Policies multiply in an attempt to compensate for shrinking competence. Bureaucratic friction increases as processes replace judgment. Complaints grow louder, but no one identifies the structural root. The system has exceeded the ability of the population to operate it. Once complexity surpasses capability, decline becomes inevitable, not immediately catastrophic, not always dramatic, but inexorable. The civilization enters a phase where it can no longer maintain the machinery it built. Every year requires more energy merely to preserve the status quo. Innovation slows. Maintenance backlogs grow. Institutional memory fades. No single indicator proves structural decline. But when negative trends appear across multiple domains and persist over time, direction becomes visible. Capability cannot be measured directly, but its erosion reveals itself through system behavior under load. And as the chapters ahead will show, this mismatch, once large enough, forces societies to accept lesser standards simply to keep the system running at all. This is the physics of empire. Not ideology. Not culture. Not chance. A civilization rises when the capability of its people exceeds the complexity of its system. It begins to fall the moment complexity grows beyond that capability. What comes next? Demographic contraction, institutional softening, and the acceptance of lower standards, is not a choice. It is a mathematical necessity. And it begins with the demographic engine explored in the following chapter.